Hey everybody, it's Romania Black. So, I may be in love with this show already. I've heard so many people say that Run with the Wind is underrated. It's one of their favorite anime to come out in the last couple of years. Kind of the same thing with Banana Fish. And I was like, okay, cool. In the first episode, I was like, this is a different premise. It's university instead of high school. It's putting this ragtag group of underdogs together that have virtually no running experience except for like two of them. And it just had a much different opening than I thought. And then episode two came along, and I was like, this is amazing. And Kaiji is best boy. I love his character already. And then with episode three, the last episode, the mystery between Kaiji and Kakeru's backstories deepen. I have a feeling that we're going to get Kakeru, some backstory on Kurahara Kakeru here in this episode coming up. And I feel like they're saving Kaiji's stuff for a little bit later on. But I really am on board with this show. I really like the premise that it's setting up. I like that it's dealing with more mature themes already. And I like kind of the character dynamics. Every character is different, with the exception of the twins kind of seem like a single consciousness, but I'm sure we'll delve into that with them. But there's so much about this show that I'm already excited about. And Kaiji has already just gotten my attention fully. And I have a feeling that he's going to be the one to come around for Kakeru, later on. But we'll see. So anyway, I want to dive right in to episode 4 and figure out what in the world is going to happen next. I'm really, really, really excited. Because we've set some things up, that we got the running team started, we've got the girl from the supermarket that's helping out and kind of like motivating, and I'm really glad that Kakeru is getting called out on him being a Debbie Downer, because the last episode I was like, dude, you need to chill, and finally the other runners were like, what's your deal? And so I have a feling we're about to get some answers, maybe. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all enjoy the reaction. And we are going to start it here. There's going to be a link on Vimeo below to the reaction, and then we'll come back and I'll discuss it. Like I did with the last episode, I'm probably going to talk over the ED, so you'll just need to see the start of that discussion in the ED in the link down below, and then come back and I'll finish up talking more once the episode's over. But anyway, we're going to start this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and now. Oh man, Sakaki, what a jerk! Like what a clearly, it all makes sense now that Kakeru's deal was that he's really good at running. He's very talented, but from that flashback, it doesn't look like he's throwing it in his teammate's face. It looks like it's really down to the coach that was like talking him up and praising him and was taking it out on the rest of the team instead. And of course, the rest of the team eventually would get resentful of that if you've got one teammate that's exempt from all the extra practices and all of the, criticism, and the rest of them have to like suffer for it. You can get why he would be, why he would find that problematic. But, and Kakeru is a pretty modest to a fault, like humble to a fault. Like he doesn't want to admit he's good at something. And so he's kind of like making himself, like he's belittling himself when Haiji's like, no, you're good. Like you're going to run with us. You're going to get faster and be good. And that's okay. Like you are you. And I'm so glad that Prince is the one to tell him off. Like I was glad Haiji was there and to kind of like diffuse the escalation. And I really like Haiji is great at diffusing tension, because you could tell that they were about to throw hands. Like Sakaki and Kakeru were about to punch each other, and that girl, she was getting nervous. And then Haiji shows up and is like, hey, who are you? And it's one of those like, you don't really know him, so Sakaki's not going to be totally rude around this new stranger. And Haiji's like, hey, how are you? What are you doing? But I love Haiji's conviction. Like he's just like, yeah, we're going to run this. Is that a problem with you? And Sakaki was going to like make fun of them, and Prince is like, no, I don't like running, I hate it, but you know what I hate more? People that are belittling what other people like. And that's like Prince is preaching to the choir here, because I know my friends and I all have very, very different interests. Like, none of my friends like manga, none of my close friends like anime. I'm kind of like the Prince character with Kakeru. Like, none of them would join a manga club with me or anything like that, but they all like different things. Like, one of my friends likes trashy reality shows, and I don't like reality shows, but she does. And so I'm like, but you like what you like, and so I'm not going to make fun of her for liking that, and she doesn't make fun of me for liking, anime and stuff like that. So it's, your good friends aren't going to belittle you. They're going to acknowledge that you like what you like, and you are you, and everybody can have different interests. Shouldn't be the sole basis of your friendship. And I love that Prince tells him that here. Like, yeah, we all are not the best runners, but we're all doing this together. And I love that ties back to Haiji talking about, you don't run alone, you always run together. And I don't know if it's like, to me, it seems like it's more not only on a physical level, but on a spiritual level too. Like, he's running with Nira. Haiji's always running with Nira. So there's a physical presence there, but I feel like Haiji's also getting that there's something more ethereal or spiritual there than just running with someone physically. And I love that Haiji is making the effort to work with Kakeru. It makes me wonder. My theory is that Haiji could have possibly been like Kakeru in the past, and kind of like belittling or putting himself down. Or I wonder if Haiji was more self-centered as a runner, and like more kind of like Sakaki, and kind of like mean. And then maybe his injury forced him to like step back and be like, okay, I need to reevaluate my life and everything with it. I don't know. I love that we got Kakeru backstory with him. We didn't get the full backstory. I feel like we're going to go back and touch base. And the way that they do flashbacks in this show is really cool. Like, the concept of time and him introspectively looking back at himself in the past and saying, why did you do that? Like, that was such a cool scene. And the way that they animated it and everything, that was so neat. But I feel like we're still going to get Haiji backstory at some point way down the road. And I feel like we're going to go back to Sakaki again and touch base. And knowing that Sakaki's in the Tokyo Physical Ed Club, that's the Tokyo, it's a little bit more elite. It sounds like that's interesting too. So oh my gosh, this episode was just so good. It was such a good way of addressing the topic of Kakeru, why are you like you are? And it's so sweet to know that he's actually a really humble person. Like, he's really modest and shy, and he doesn't want to admit he's good at something. And he's like, no, don't praise me. And Haiji's like, no, embrace it. It's cool. And the other teammates, rather than getting mad at him that he's so good, they're embracing it too. And so I feel like Haiji's going to want Kakeru to like use his passion as a motivator, kind of like what Haiji does. But his whole spiel with the manga with Prince, like, oh, that dynamic, I love it so much. And I just love Haiji's character. Like, he continues to be just a force to be reckoned with. And you can tell the law student and Musa are still kind of on the fence, but I feel like the law student's going to be the last one to get on board. But she's going to get on board. Like, come on, guys, But yeah, man, this episode was great. I loved it. I really want to dive into the next episode, and I might. If I'm honest, I might go ahead and watch episode 5, because that was a lot of fun. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this reaction. I hope you all enjoyed the episode. Please feel free to comment down below. This show is just so good, and I like how it's tackling the way that these characters' inner psyche is working. And I get a feeling we still have 19 episodes to go. And so I have a feeling we're going to touch base on all of our characters. It looks like King is getting focused in the next episode, because we saw several images of him in the preview. So maybe we're getting some introspective into his character. So I'm curious about that, because he interests me with his obsession with finding a job and everything. So I'm curious. But anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please feel free to comment down below. But until next time, stay safe. And I'll talk to y'all again soon with more of Run with the Wind. Bye.